Oh, hello, we're live. Welcome to Shoot the Defence. Blimey, it's been a fucking hot minute, hasn't it? If it could be any hotter, it'd be like a fucking volcano.
Oh,
I'm
language.
Stel. Listen, we say whatever we want, no matter. There you go. I'm Stel. I've got D-Man and I've got Dubul Dee, the D&D Football Factory, the duo, the biggest duo. What's going on? I can hear my voice. Are you listening to yourself, Dubul Dee? Are you listening to?
I was trying to share it to Facebook, but because it won't mute, I've just turned it off.
It's just like another Saturday morning, isn't it?
Oh, no, Saturday mornings are worse, mate.
How you been, boys? All good?
Yeah, man. All good. Can't complain. Yeah. Well, on the back of an L, but yeah, can't complain.
Nah, you still had a great season.
Yeah, all right. Okay, mister, we're still fighting for top four. Come on, man.
We all are, man. We all are.
I wanted to be. This is what it should be called, isn't it? The top four race podcast today. I prefer it to be in the expense of United rather than Newcastle, though.
Yeah. You would.
We'll see. Time will tell.
You would fucking hell. Right, boys. Well, look, I want to start this show a bit different to what you guys are used to. Right, I was thinking about this today. No warning.
No warning.
No. You don't need, listen, all you need is your brain and your memory. Okay, because this isn't a quiz. I need you to cast your mind way back. Like back into time.
Back into
like when you guys were kids.
Jerome.
Back in the day when I was yeah. Hey, run it back.
So I'll tell you why I want to bring this up, because I went out today and where I went, it was a place where it reminded me of not my youth per se, but I remember a specific football match. Listening to it on the radio when I was a kid, because back in the early 90s, when I didn't have Sky Sports, or when my parents didn't have Sky Sports, I had Radio 5 Live or Capital Gold. They used to listen to have a commentary, didn't they? Right?
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, like, is there a specific place where you guys go where you remember a moment? And I'll give you another example. You know, there'd be times where, you know, I'd go to Cyprus on holiday and I'd be in Limassol, for example, where all the tourists area is, and you got the bars and the pubs, and I'll never forget walking down there as a youngster buying those knockoff VHSs, the pirate videos, and you'd see a big screen. You know, in the early 90s, a big screen was big, you know, for the 90s.
Yeah.
And they'd have a Premier League game, because obviously they'd be streaming it in Europe, and we didn't have 3 o'clocks out here. We didn't have Fire Sticks and internet, all that kind of shit. So are there any places where you go, either on holiday or anywhere in the UK or wherever, that reminds you of the good old days, so to speak?
Well, as a Newcastle, there ain't too many good old days. But what I would say is, I remember where I was for specific games, that significant games for Newcastle. For instance, I think I was in Crete when they used to get the I think it was the Sun newspaper. They used to get it a day late because of, you know. And I had no other way of finding out football scores and that. So it was the charity shield between Man United and Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I think it was Shearer's debut, I think it was. And we lost 4-0. Yeah. So I remember like rushing to get the paper because it was Shearer's debut, see if he scored or whatever. And I had to see like, I think it was Nicky Butt or someone, Roy Keane, holding up the charity shield and that, and reading the report, how we got battered and that, whatever. And I remember obviously twice at my old house, at my mum's house, watching the 2 back-to-back, the 4-3s with Liverpool, right? So the first one, I watched it with my brother and my dad. My brother's a Liverpool fan, so I watched it, and obviously Newcastle still going for the title, blah, blah, everyone. I think that's the first time football actually made me cry. Right? When Collymore banged it in, and I still remember the commentary from Martin Tyler, Barnes, Rush, Collymore closing and all that rubbish. Kevin King hangs his head. And then the next year, I refused to watch it, right? So we've gone 3-0 down, and I've gone upstairs, and I could hear downstairs that Newcastle kept scoring, and I saw 3-3. So when is it Warren Barton got the third? Yeah. I come downstairs to celebrate, and then it happens again. Yeah, I think it was Fowler this time, innit?
Fowler head, innit?
Killed me, bro. Those 2 games stick out in my memory like very vividly, and then obviously the 5-0 against Man United. I actually missed that game. I was at a christening or a party or something like that, and I came back, and I didn't know the score, so I just watched the game. I recorded the game and I watched it, so I remember that, you know, the Philip Albert, that the little chip kind of thing. So those kind of things stick out vividly in my memory still.
Mate, do you know what's wild about this, right? I can remember exactly where I was in the games that you mentioned, especially involving Man United, Newcastle. I can remember them. But ask me where I was a year ago during these games. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
It's true.
The Charity Shield game, I was at my cousin's house in Cyprus, in Buffer, right? This little village called Dimi, right? And I'll never forget this because there was only like 5 or 6 channels in Cyprus at the time. And this one channel just showed Premier League games. And at half time, they decided to switch to a news broadcast because some Cypriots in the south decided to try go past the border in the north. And all the footage was of all of that. So I was like, what the fuck happened with the game? I didn't know the result. I didn't know the full-time score until like a couple hours later when we left my auntie's house and I had to listen to British Forces radio just for a news bulletin to find out the score. And the 5-0, I was around my cousin Andy's house. I'll never forget the Albert goal. He's a Chelsea fan, and he was leaping out of his fucking seat doing that. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hey, what about you, bro?
2, probably 2. 1, back like in secondary school days, so we're talking like late 90s, going into 2000s. Before
when you knew how to do a tie, yeah.
No, I can actually do a tie.
What about your shoelaces?
Shoelaces, I struggle with something now. I'm playing, right? And my sister bought me a pager, so I'll be Saturday was always like before like I started working in that was always about playing football with everyone. So like I'd look at, then you'll get them. The schools will come up on the pager. I think it was like a BT ticket or whatever, and then it will come up on the pager. And again, so you didn't know the score. So obviously, like you're just shocked with everything. So now when we don't play on a Saturday at 3, I don't check the score, obviously, to like take the shock or whatever. So you could say that's partially one in terms of taking back to the old times. But also as well, when I was younger, before I got involved in a serious accident that literally ended any chances I hope football wise when I was young. They used to give tickets. We used to play in the Bantam League, and they used to give tickets to us. And this is back just before Wimbledon went out of Prem. So we always used to go up to Selhurst Park whenever there was a home game for Crystal Palace or Wimbledon. So still now, even now, when I go to Selhurst Park, I just get that little takes me back. That little buzz when I go in there. You get me. I always go in. If anyone needs to have a little deep breath, look around and whatnot, and go in. So yeah, that kind of takes me back to back in the day. But I don't know what it was. You could say because you're younger in that, but football just doesn't feel the same. Even just watching it as like back in the day when you had like the more crappy pictures and what. That's like everything else. And it's watching the right match. Everything else, but the actual matches, just feel like looks good, but sometimes the matches can be really poor. So we've been sport for goals today in the Premier League, but otherwise I've watched a lot of crap footy. And obviously because we do a weekly show, certain times you've watched something and you're like, I could have been doing so many different things here, you know. And then when you're at a family event, it was like one boy, Darren knows him as well. Me and Chad used to work with a guy called Jason. His mum had her birthday back in September. So we missed the 5:30 game. So what happened? Goal fest between Spurs and Leicester. But then I've sat there for certain 5:30 games on a Saturday and nothing's happened.
Nothing happened.
But yeah. Them type of little instances there like will take you back and that to good times when you had no bills and just watch football, go to bed. You get me?
Yeah.
No stress, no that, no depression, no that, you know.
And what about the magazines? Because I used to get Match and Shoot.
Yeah,
Match of
the day, and then obviously sticker books. I've got like if I was to have a proper look, I've got sticker books. So if I found one a couple of years ago and I said, "Still, how much do you reckon I could get for this?" And he said, "Keep it, mate." No, he said, "Just keep it. You won't be able to get that now." I think I missed that window. I think it was 194. 94 or 95 Premier League one, completed. 98 was completed and whatnot, because obviously back then you didn't have to worry about that, because if you didn't use up money at school, well, then actually I'd have to start being smart and having packed lunch
Yeah.
So I can save that money and buy stickers, but stickers were affordable then. The price of stickers now, but like, what if you can't afford
Them
them?
kind of,
He's
yeah.
in secondary now. He can't afford them things. They were like 25p back in them days. Stickers.
25p,
Yeah.
Fall for a pound, you're nice. No, I think one pack's like a pound or something like that.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? And
You know,
used to get the free ones every week in the newspaper.
right,
That will start you off. You'll get like 6 free stickers in the
That's
newspaper.
right.
That will start things off. You get me?
Do you know, I'm glad you mentioned sticker books. That was going to be my next question, actually. When you guys were collecting stickers, was there always one player or one team that you needed for so long to finish the book? Because I remember that 93-94 season when Swindon came up, the badge, the shiny, that was the one I needed to complete the book. And I was taking my swaps in all
take me in, bro. I was more concerned about taking all my swaps, all my duplicates into school than food, bro. Into primary, I'll come in there. Like, we're there half an hour outside. That I've got that.
Got that. Yeah, I'll trade you that one. Yeah.
I had Blackburn's flipping shiny. I had Blackburn's special one. Like,
I can remember Colin Hendry, bro. I can remember his big face on the sticker, bro. I can remember it, bro.
I had I kept on seeing the Brighton.
8 Colin Hendrys in your bubbles.
the Brighton shiny, right? Kept on getting like Mike Newell and Kevin Gallagher and that. But you know, they used to do like on the main page, it will be sort of shiny, and then it will be the team photo, and then the star player. And I couldn't get the Blackburn star player or the team photo. And I had like literally every other sticker book in the thing. I think I had to get my mum 4-2. I think I had to get my mum to do the thing for me so I could send off to actually send the stickers I needed to Merlin to complete the pack.
Yeah.
You know, like you had to send off a form and you could do and order them or whatever, you get me? So madness.
Come on, D man, what are your struggles? What are your sticker book struggles?
Bruv, I gave up halfway through, bro. I couldn't get none of them, bruv. I gave up, bruv. Yeah, I was more concerned in getting the Newcastle team. That was all I cared about, bruv. Getting the Newcastle complete, bruv. And the rest, I thought, you know what? Like I said, I kept on seeing Blackburn players, bruv, all over the place, bruv. And that was it. It's getting my nerves, bruv. That was it. So I just gave up, bruv. Gave up. I tried the old
World Cup ones.
the World Cup ones, remember? But I tried to do the old. Did you ever used to play like Fantasy League before it was Fantasy League? Like when you had to communicate via telephone or post to transfer players.
By mail.
Yeah, I heard.
All of
I
that,
never
bruv.
got involved with that, but yeah.
Bruv, I had some 40-year-old man call up my brother, talk about, I'll trade this guy for your Spanish. Brother, what are you doing at this age? Talking to a little teenager. Get off the line, bro.
They're breathing down the phone and thing.
Yeah, bro. So crazy, bro.
It's Ken Kniff on the internet. Teletext as well.
Hey, Teletext was the one.
Teletext was the greatest thing ever, man.
Listen, I remember one day.
Wait for the page to change.
Everyone from the ends, obviously, like two of my best mates used to live like literally opposite the house. We're just sitting there chatting and whatever, with teletext on the thing, waiting for the thing to flip over. We were all here before that 5-0 Newcastle. We were all here, or was it the week after when Southampton beat United 6-3? And
yeah.
We thought there was something wrong with it. We thought the teletext was winding out, and I was like, "What?"
Teletext was the one.
Teletext was the one, bro.
Teletext and CFAX. That's what it was called.
302 and
302 and 1
for
for
the-
that's
yeah,
it.
for the foot,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
That was mad.
and it's not football related, but one thing I used to always check on teletext. Now it wouldn't be so prevalent because obviously with catch-up TV, you can watch it anytime. I always used to check the TV ratings for each channel, what the 10 most watched programs were.
Oh, okay.
The soaps used to lick up like 20 mil, 18 to 20 mil on soaps. Now, because you can watch it at whatever time, no one's really on that. But yeah, football then used to come in and then just slap them about, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
man.
you get me? Them were the days, man.
The frustrating thing about teletext is that you had to sit and wait for the page to change. Right?
Oh my god!
I'll never forget this. Get this right. I'll never forget this. I went to my cousin's house and his parents had a bit of money. They still do, right? And they got this swanky new television. And I'm sitting there. He goes, "Watch this." He goes on teletext and he presses a button. And the page changes like instantaneously. I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. There was a button that he pressed on the remote control and it flipped the page.
Just changed it straight away.
I couldn't believe it.
Living the high life.
Unbelievable. This is cool. What's going on? Unbelievable.
Oh,
God,
sugar.
the things that we used to get so impressed by.
They wouldn't they just wouldn't, the youth of today just wouldn't, they wouldn't get it, man.
Bro, they don't know
get it.
about DVDs and them things there, bro. They're just, bro, it's a joke. Absolute joke.
Mate, I remember you used to get that Match magazine, and they would have like transfer rumors, and you'd sit there and you'd read them with your mates. You're like, oh yeah, Man United are gonna sign Jean-Pierre Papin.
Yeah.
And like you wouldn't know who he is because
Yeah,
the
but
only
you
thing you
get
had to
excited.
rely on.
Yeah, because
Yeah, you get excited.
the name
It
was
was only
fancy.
like in the mid-90s when we got Sky at home, B Sky B, and then we had Euro goals. That was when it was.
Euro goals.
I don't know why they stopped. I don't know why they stopped Euro goals, man.
Well, BT and all the other networks have taken
true,
over everything.
yeah,
Well, that's it.
But it was mad. It was mad. But yeah, that was nice nostalgia to start us off, man.
Yeah, man.
That deserves a pod, to be honest. A whole separate pod. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember I used to do a pod with Sid Lambert that has the 90s football Twitter account.
Yeah.
Shit ton. He shows, and we used to do a show called Bloods from the Past, where we just take a game from the old days, from the 90s, and we just review it.
Yeah.
You know, it was brilliant, man. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
When you're talking to other people as well, similar age range, you're like, you can relate to that kind of stuff, you know. But yeah, it was cool. But let's talk about the present day, boys. And let's start with.
No, let's do this. No, I'll play.
No. Come on. If you want
no. As I said, separate off a pod. We're probably going to go in, bro. We're gonna talk them through CFAX how to use it.
Well, no stress.
No.
I'm going to start with you. I'm going to start with you, Double, because
we're here to do both.
Your team. I can't quite. Well, I actually don't know what to make of Liverpool this season. Now, on the one hand, I could think injuries, recruitment, departures, etc. Klopp maybe being found out a little bit, but the past few weeks he's kind of reinvented himself, especially with Trent being played as a central midfielder. When you guys almost won the league, when City won it,
you could say that a few times. What are you talking about? 2002, 2009, 2019, no, 2014, 2019, 2022. Which year? Be specific.
Well, let's go with after you won the title. Yeah, after COVID. Yeah, let's go with the more recent one. Yeah, okay, right. At which point did you? Okay, first of all, did you actually believe that Liverpool needed some kind of a reshuffle at the time? And the second part of this question is, now that you've got some sort of a reshuffle, is there enough there for you guys to challenge next season?
At the moment, no, because even in games when we've kept clean sheets, it's been mainly because of Alisson's brilliance rather than anything necessary that we've done defensively. Too many players have been off the ball at the same time. Robertson has been inconsistent. Trent has been inconsistent. And in fact, until now, in this inverted role he's played in, he's been very inconsistent. Virgil van Dijk, you would have thought this season would have come in his first season back after the injury, but it's been this season. But he did do an interview saying like his body gave up on him and whatnot. But just even the way it seems like he's thinking slower and not engaging people in one-on-ones, he's letting them get by. Even that goal on Saturday, that Mbeumo's goal that was disallowed, I thought could have done better there, and even Trent came back and Trent should have took the ball off him, so we're lucky we got saved by the offside flag. But the thing is that even when the team wins a title, you can still see what is needed. And even Liverpool at their zenith, the weakest part of the team has always been the midfield. And at times, even before we won the league, we'd actually sometimes bypass it because we knew if we got the ball into a Mane or Salah or whatever, they can produce that bit of magic and link up. We never necessarily had the creativity from midfield, constant of someone threading passes like City have got with De Bruyne. Even though Leicester aren't doing that great this season when he's fit, Maddison will slip balls through, etc. We've never consistently had that under Klopp. And then, especially in the more recent years, it's a more functional midfield that would protect the back four and get works hard, presses, wins the ball, and then allows the forwards to do their thing. So we knew even when some of us fans knew even when we won the league, we still needed to make purchases, but we got Thiago in and kind of left it at that. Never sorted back the centre back. Never got enough of a centre back, even though they let Lovren go. And so we knew that the signings were being made, but it's just like FSG at times. I don't blame them as much as some other fans, but they've been fortunate at times that Klopp's been able, in certain scenarios, to turn water into wine. So therefore, they've got by, and then they've been cool. It's like, look, we saved these guys from bankruptcy. They've got a Champions League under us. They won all the other trophies you get off of winning that. They won the league, and then obviously last season, FA Cup and League Cup. But I still went and I said to D on the show, I said, there might be, though I still was thinking, I don't know who else will come through in Challenge City. I still thought that I've got a funny feeling that this season, and I wasn't fooled by the Community Shield win, as good as we played in that things might not come together. Don't get twisted. I didn't think it would be as bad as this. We've lost 9 games for goodness sake. Like we in the year we won the league and the 2 times we finished second to City, put all those defeats together, they don't come up to 9. So new reinforcement was needed. But what annoys me the most is that if it's the case now, they can't get Bellingham. It seemed that's what you were saving for. So therefore, why didn't you make additions in the summer then if you knew that you weren't going to have the money? Regardless, because obviously they've called it off because they look at it as like, if they don't get Champions League. But you should never have thought that was a certainty anyway, because every season is not the same. So therefore, it's like you've written off the season. Because you're seeing now putting a little run together. I don't think we will get it, but we could get Champions League football. So therefore, it goes to show you if we sorted out a couple of issues, we'd have got it anyway, even though we wouldn't have been in the title race, you understand? So reinforcements were needed anyway when you're winning. You've got to keep refreshing things. And that's one thing that your manager still, that's one thing that Sir Alex was great at when you lot were out there, always making signings, refreshing things up to keep people on their toes and challenge people in varying positions. I think a few people in our team got too comfortable. And as I said, I spoke of Robbo, Van Dijk and Trent. Joe Gomez has been off this season completely. Matip's been inconsistent. So when you brought that all together, and in the midfield with all the injuries and them not protecting the back four, that's why Alex has had to make the most amount of saves he's had to make since he's been at Liverpool. You get me? So yeah. So we need to sort things out, man, regardless of what competition we're in next season, European competition that is.
Well, put it this way, you guys are still in contention for top 4. So it's not beyond the realms of impossible. I think you're only a point behind United. I know they've got a game in hand, but the way that they're playing at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me if they capitulate. So, given where you were in December, January time, are you surprised that you've reached the levels that you have, or was it a fact of we just need to click into gear?
I always knew that the winning run was coming. Like every week on the show, I'm like, Liverpool going to put together that long winning streak. I thought it was coming a bit earlier, but then there was the draw with Chelsea in there because we were unbeaten for 5 games not too long ago. But then we were lucky to get a draw to an extent at Stamford Bridge. But we were keeping clean sheets, which we hadn't done really this season. So now this 6-game winning streak, I knew that it was coming, but it looks like it might have just been too late. But that's what annoys me. We started off this calendar year by getting slapped 3-1 by Brentford away, 3-0 by Wolves, and 3-0 by Brighton. And we barely got a kick in that Brighton game. If we won just one of them games, Champions League football wouldn't be a problem. And that's what annoys me. It's just that the lack of heart they showed then. Klopp just looked exasperated. And I hadn't seen that before. But now he's making little tweaks and whatnot. But it's not even necessarily the system. Because even though he was stubborn in change, and that made him take longer to change things, it was the personnel in there. At a stage, Mancetic, the youngster who only got in the team because other people were rubbish, was our best player in numerous games. And then because they overplayed the teenager, then he got injured. And then now he decided to change the formation. So if the youngster never got injured, we might not even be seeing Trent in the role that he's playing now. But we probably left it too late, but I knew that the winning run was going to come because we've done it time and time again. Even when we come third in that injury hit season, the last 10 games, and I think we were like 9th first stage. We won 8 and drew 2. And then Rangers we drew were both late equalisers because of lack of concentration against Newcastle. Newcastle fully deserved their point at Anfield, though, because Wilson had a goal harshly ruled out. I think, did they say it was a handball D in that game? And
Yeah, they said it's handball, yeah.
We drew 1-1 with Leeds as well. That was a late goal from a corner there. So you know it was going to come. It's probably left it too late. That's what we can do. It's mainly because of the home form, away we've been trash. But I've seen a few sides attack-wise. I know goals will be there. Now Diaz is back fit, Jota's back fit, goals are there. So if they can sort out the defensive midfield, don't be surprised if you see us, I'm not sure about winning it, but back in the title race next season and make a longer run in Champions League like we usually do.
All right. Well, look, I'm just going to give you some perspective here. I know United have got 4 games left. I think they've got Wolves, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Chelsea, and 3 of those games are at home. But we know what United are capable of doing, right? Especially when it comes to slipping up. Whereas you guys, you got Leicester away, Villa at home, and
Southampton away. Yeah.
Right. Now, look. This is just me. I'm just going to say I think Liverpool will get top 4.
They will. I've been saying that. I've been saying that for a while.
He's been saying it for a while. He was more convinced than me. But still, though, your games are the home games. If you win all your home games, you can take care of it, because that's one thing I've done this season. Their away record against the top half of the table is absolutely appalling. But at home, the teams that you're meant to beat, you beat them and keep clean sheets. So that's why De Gea, and he's had a lot of trash games this season, is looking like in pole position to get the Golden Glove. So obviously, if you're better than more teams in the league, then you're not. So
their home form will take them over the line.
Yeah,
get them over the line. It's Newcastle's going to miss out. Newcastle will miss out. I'm telling you, it's Man United's home form that will get them over the line, because they'll get at least 2 victories from that, and then they'll get a couple points from their away one. They'll get the 9 points that they need minimum to secure it. It's Newcastle that's gonna narrowly miss out. I think we'll get 70 points, 5 more points for the season. I think I've broken it down. I think we'll get 5 more points. I don't think we'll get it.
You say that though about United's home form, or about United being at home, but I don't really believe that Man United being at Old Trafford makes much of a difference anymore.
But it has this season though. It has this season. You've got, since you lost to is it Brighton at the beginning of the season or whatever it was at home? Yeah. You ain't lost a game, have you? You ain't lost a game at home.
Oh, I can't remember.
No, you haven't. You haven't lost a game at home.
Can't remember. Well, look, put it this way: the way I see it, the amount of injuries that United have got at the moment, with the centre backs especially being out, with Fernandes being hit and miss this season, without a striker. Martial isn't that guy. He never has been in my eyes.
Is it true? I saw something the other day, but I didn't know whether I was being trolled or not. It said he scored 5 Premier League goals in the last 3 seasons.
Martial?
I wouldn't know.
That can't be correct, surely. Yeah, Martial.
Yeah, the injuries, I know. He's got 9 in 3 years. 9, I think it's 9 or something like that. 9 in total, so maybe 5 league goals.
Well, he was on loan at Sevilla, wasn't he, last season, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? And scored in his debut and didn't score again for them.
But the problem for United isn't the defence. I think even with those 2 out, Lindelof and Shaw have done a decent job. It's the fact that you're not scoring goals. I think that's the problem.
Because Rashford's dried up in it.
But you'll get the 1-0s at home, or the 2-0s at home, or the 2-1s, whatever. You'll get that at home. You'll get it. It's not going to be a problem.
I don't know. I'm not confident. And again, this isn't me being this whole defeatist kind of person, but I look at the run of games. We saw Fulham play against United in the cup, how well they did. Had it not been for Mitrovic throwing a wobbly, it could have been different. Bournemouth away, never easy. I know they lost at the weekend to Chelsea, but it's never easy going to Bournemouth when especially United anyway. Wolves always a mosquito. That's effectively what they are. And Chelsea, and Chelsea. All right, say what you want about Chelsea, but historically they've always given United problems, home and away. So even when they were shit, when they had people like Mark Stein in the team, and John Spencer. I remember when United did the double. Chelsea were the only team to beat United home and away that season. in
Yeah.
93, 94, I think it was.
Yeah.
So history isn't on United's side when it comes to this. But look, the way I see it, you can only beat what's in front of you, or beat the teams that are in front of you. And
Yeah.
I think Liverpool are in better form, much better in form than United. But let's talk about your team, D-Man. And crikey, we had a podcast many months ago when the takeover was about to happen. We had Lee Clark on, and you guys were very excited. And has it lived up to the expectation so far?
I'll be honest, bro. It's exceeded my expectations because when the takeover came in, we still had Steve Bruce, so we didn't know who he was going to get, and then obviously he's gone and Eddie Cow's come in, and when he came in, obviously we were 19th in the league, one win I think we was all season, and I think we finished like 11th or 12th. The run that we went on, like he made us hard to beat. We were grinding out results, and he did say that he wasn't going to overload the team with too much information too fast to play the way he wants to play. So he managed it well. And then on the back of that, obviously we spent a bit of money. Not as much as people would have thought we were going to do what people actually say we did, but we spent a bit of money. But even going into this season, ask any Newcastle fan, the expectation was a top half finish and a cup run. Yeah. Now we've exceeded all of that. Yeah, already, because obviously we got to the League Cup final, and we're now sitting in third place. And listen, no Newcastle fan would have ever dreamed we'd be in this position with 4 games to go in third place in the league. At very best, 6th. I was thinking maybe between 6th and 8th would be a great season. I personally believe we won't finish lower than 5th. But not only have we done it in that third position, but we've done it by playing good football. And Eddie Howe, you have to give him credit because he's done it very cleverly. So he's made us hard to beat, and we carried it into the beginning of the season where we were keeping a lot of clean sheets, winning, by the odd goal and that. And then people saying we weren't scoring enough, and then we had a period and we drew too many games on the spin. And then the second half of the season, we've just opened up the floodgates. We're scoring a bag of goals. Yes, we are conceding more, but the goal margin that we're winning by and the football that we're playing, that sometimes is breathtaking. And we take it back to some of the players that he has improved tenfold, the likes of Joe Linton, Almiron, Willock. Willock has been one of the, especially since the World Cup has finished, one of our best players. He's come on leaps and bounds. People thought Callum Wilson was finished because he went on that barren run of, I think, 13 games and he didn't score a goal, but he was obviously carrying an injury and he was just coming back from sickness, illness, whatever. Enoch's hungry, and Isak, bro, like 3 months out, our record signing. Bar City, I think he gets into any team in the league. Yeah, I think he gets it. He's that good. He's that good. So, and the likes of Trippier, Botman, Pope, to a man, I think they've all done extremely well. Obviously, there are areas that we need to improve on that, but even when we lose a game, it's not like before where we knew we were going to go on some mad losing streak. We're going to lose more games than we win in a season. Like, this is dreamland for me because like I keep saying, I can watch match of the day most weeks because we're winning. We go into games expecting to win. Bar the Villa game, there hasn't been a game where we haven't, competed. So, as much as I don't, it's similar to Arsenal in a certain sense. Arsenal's objectives would have been top 4, right? But then they got on this mad run and they were top for how long? If they don't win the league, it will put a little blemish on their season. The season will kind of end in a slight disappointment. That's the same for Newcastle now. Now that we've been in the top 4 for quite some time now, if we finish outside the top 4, it won't be a failure. It will just be slightly disappointing how the season has ended, basically. But it's still exciting times because we know that, I think we mentioned before the show started, that we're not going to be a Leicester or Everton where we finish in the top 4, win the league like once and then fall off. We're here to stay. We're here to disrupt the big boys. I know some clubs don't like it. We're gaining rivals with every game that we play. the latest one's Arsenal now. They seem to hate us. They've got this rivalry going on with us now for some reason. But like Eddie Howe said, we're not here to be liked. We're here to take over. So you know what I mean. It's the future's bright, man, and it's been a long time coming. Like this has been since that one season we had under Ali Bahaji when we finished 5th, I think it was, and then the Kevin Keegan days. Like this is like a new lease of life for us Newcastle fans. Man, it's exciting times, man. Exciting times.
Yeah, I think that Arsenal rivalry started with that 4-4 draw when Tiote scored in the last minute. I think that's when it all really started.
Good times, man. Good times. R.I.P. Chet.
And everything.
Yeah.
But look, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been impressed with Newcastle, especially Eddie Howe. You know, I was one of the doubters when he first got the job, and obviously he's proved me wrong, and he's doing a very good job. But you know, you mentioned players like your Dan Burns, your Shares, and all that. If you are to compete, no disrespect to them, and I don't mean this in a rude way, but you're not going to challenge for honours with those guys in your team as regulars.
As regular starters, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
So, but we saw what happened with Man City when Mansour first took over. They still had the Gareth Barrys, the Shay Givens, the other players and they slowly
phased them out.
Them go. Exactly. Do you see that happening with you guys, or is there a chance that maybe Eddie Howe will go into next season thinking, well, these guys have really put in a shift for me. They've done so well. It wouldn't be right for me to get rid and just replace them straight away. Is he going to go aggressive in the transfer market, you think?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, because there are about, I'd say, 6 or 7 players that will be out the door regardless. And you're talking at likes of Fraser, Matt Ritchie, possibly Lascelles. You've got Manquillo. There's about 5 or 6 of them. A few of the keepers, Darlow and stuff like that. So that's where he's going to be very ruthless. He's going to get rid of those, and he will. I think some of the targets that we're looking at. So we're definitely looking at a left back who can do what Trippier does on that side, on the right hand side, because Dan Burn isn't a left back, but he will be centre back cover and left back cover. Looking for a younger right centre back to compete with Fabian Schär. And eventually take his place, and then it's further up the pitch where it gets interesting because we need a number 6, right? So we're going to look for one of those, and then if we get that, it's a question of whose position who's going to drop out, because one of the most underrated players in our team is Sean Longstaff, right? When he's not there, it's a completely different balance to the midfield, and it's not a good one. You saw it against Arsenal, same against Villa, first half against Southampton. When he's not there, it's not the same, because he allows Bruno to push forward and to cover, and he gives the back four a bit more security as well, and he just brings overall balance and his energy. But so we will need someone, a number 6. So I don't know who's going to be replacing that midfield, and then we want a younger striker, like a 21-year-old, to learn from the likes of Isak and Wilson, basically. So there are a couple positions where players could be replaced, like the likes of Dan. But I think eventually Nick Pope will be replaced as well. I think eventually we're going to look for a ball-playing keeper, because I don't think Nick Pope wasn't really Eddie Howe's first choice, but credit to him, he's come in and done a great job. But I think long term, I think he will be replaced. Not next season, but I think moving forward, I think because Eddie Howe wants us to have complete control of football games and stuff, and when you're always pumping it long, you're not going to get the control that you need, kind of thing. So I think there'll be a bit of ruthlessness, but I think it'll stay loyal to the core of the team, because they did get us here. The likes of Joe Linton has now become a starter, automatic starter in our team. People like that. Isak's going to be the main number 9 moving forward. So it's going to be interesting with what we do with say Maximin, because he's not an Eddie Howe type player, but he does bring something different. But if we can get a more suitable replacement and get a decent fee for him, I think he may be out the door. I think he will be the biggest name that leaves at the end of the season. So I like him, but I don't think Eddie Howe really fancied him to stay long term. So that's one to watch.
All right. Well, here's one to stick your neck out. My last question, Newcastle related. Where do you think you guys will end next season? Or what do you expect from next season? I think that's
Well, a lot of it depends on where we finish this season. Because if we get Champions League, that then gives us a better market, high caliber profile of player that we can attract. But I don't think we're going to get top 4. I'll just say that now. So let's say we're playing Europa. Yeah. Next season, I think the expectation will be to finish inside the top 6, to solidify that, and another cup run. So whether it be in Europa, whether it be the FA Cup or the League Cup, the expectation will be to go far in one of the cups, at least one, and especially the FA Cup, because we keep going out in the third round to these dead teams, bro. Like if it's not Cambridge, it's Sheffield Wednesday. I think we want to see a longer run in FA Cup, and if we're in Europe, listen, we're going to enjoy the away days anyway, but to get a couple wins in Europe as well, I think that, but definitely the priority will be top six finish, and then we can start building again, because to get top 6 next season is going to be even more difficult with the likes of Spurs, Chelsea. You know what I mean? It's going to be, Brighton are still going to be there. It's going to be very, very difficult. Villa. It's going to be very, very competitive. So, you know, it's. But I just think, for instance, I don't think we're going to beat Leeds on the weekend. And
really?
Yeah, something tells me that Big Sam's going to pull off a 1-0 masterclass or 1-1. But if we do win that, I think we get top 4. But if we don't, we start thinking of Europa. Think about Europa.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the bottom 3, a position that D-Man used to know all about.
All too well.
Well, Southampton lost 4-2 tonight to Forest, so I think they're down. Really, they're 6 points. Oh, sorry, they're
4-3 still.
4-3,
yeah. Yeah. Ball Pell scored a penalty.
Yeah. So they're 8 points behind Everton, who battered Brighton today. I don't think anyone saw that one coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Leicester are down there with Leeds United. Leicester got hammered 5-2 or 5-3. 5-3 at Fulham today. So, boys, it definitely is an interesting bottom 3 race. You know, Forest, I still don't think are fully out of it. They're 3 points ahead. I think, in all fairness, all the way up until Bournemouth in 14th and 39.
Shout out Gary O'Neill, though, man. He's done outstanding, bro. Because who did they buy? It's the same players that bloody Scott Parker had.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I think Bournemouth. Where are Bournemouth? They're 14th on 39. Yeah. To be honest, I think Bournemouth and West Ham are safe. I think it's from 16th downwards. I think that's where it's going to be interesting. If we meet Leeds, they're down. I just don't see. I think that result that Everton got today, massive. I think they might get a point against City. You know, I think they might.
Don't say that.
Okay.
I hope not, but I think this is where City. Cause I was talking to my cousin who supports Man City, right, Amari, and he was saying the only fixture that he was saying from a couple of days ago, said the only fixture that worries him is Everton away. He said he reckons he'll do with all the others, but he reckons Everton away is going to be the sticky one. And if that happens, Arsenal are going to clap Brighton, clap them. But yeah, I think that's the Leeds, Newcastle, and Everton, Man City. Those where you might see surprises. I think you might see surprises.
So you got faith in Big Sam then?
I hope not. I can't stand him, bro. Can't stand it. I hope we absolutely because again we ain't got no long staff, so the midfield's going to be unbalanced. As long as Howe don't try that Wilson and Isak combo at Leeds, it's either they beat us 1-0 or we spank them. It's one of the two, but I'm just not confident. 12:30 on a Saturday is never a good fixture. Never a good fixture. So for the away team, yeah. So I just think I can just see it now. They pull it off, and then that brings them to 33 points. Leicester are in trouble because they've got Liverpool next. They're in trouble. They're going to lose that.
Yeah, but watch them turn into prime Brazil, bro.
Not a chance, bro. Not a chance.
No.
I think Southampton, Leicester, and I still think Forest are going to go down.
Oh, for real? Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
if you're saying Everton and Leeds there, then it has to be them. No,
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Big Sammy.
Forest have got Chelsea next. Forest have got Chelsea next away.
They can win. They can win to Chelsea and poo, bro.
Oh, I don't know. Chelsea buoyed after that win. Who's Leicester? No, Leicester got Liverpool. Everton got City. Forest got Chelsea. Oh, it's a madness, you know. It's Forest will probably will look at it. I think, well, we've got the easier fixture,
Just slap Big Sam about just for the fact that he didn't even mention how. Which means either he doesn't respect the team,
he knew.
He doesn't.
He knew not to mention how.
Or he knows that he's not better.
He just knows there's certain levels. You've got Klopp, you've got Pep, you've got Arteta, but how you just don't go for the big dog, bro. You leave the big dog alone, bro. You leave the big dog alone. Yeah. But
Forest have got Chelsea, Arsenal, and Palace, 3 London clubs, and we know that Arsenal are going to be going for it because they want to go for the title.
But this is the thing.
Chelsea again something to prove, and
Brighton have the quality that some of these other teams do to put the ball in the net if Arsenal give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? Just target Zinchenko, they can get what they want.
Murphy had him in a spliff, bro. But yeah,
I think the tactic most clubs need to use on Zinchenko is just try and make him cry. Just try and make him cry.
Always crying and
Always
leading the huddles and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
They must be tired of it.
Have you not seen that video of him dancing like Michael Jackson, dressed up like the Thriller?
Yeah.
No,
My goodness.
Hold on. Leeds have conceded 69 goals. Listen, if we don't slap up this team...
That's why Melier got dropped now. Haaland annoyed me, and partially for FPL reasons, but Haaland, the first time I ever had him as a differential, right? And then he got to miss every chance under the sun. And then Leeds pull a goal back, and then Man City were time wasted against Leeds.
My God.
Jesus is Lord. Like, that game, they should have scored 5 or 6 and end up just about hanging on. Well, if they started with Rodrigo, they probably would have drawn the thing, Leeds.
And Leeds will take their confidence, the fact they scored against City, against Newcastle. Now watch. We can't keep clean sheets for nothing, bro. So it's going to be...
Where is it?
It's at Leeds.
Ellen Road, yeah.
Ellen Road, 12-13 Saturday.
What was the score?
What was the score of St James's?
0-0.
Was it 0-0?
Yeah, they did the time wasted thing, innit? They did the same thing, bro. They just literally did the time wasted thing and just broke up play. And
you're gonna have Arsenal fans saying, "Yeah, okay, pot kettle."
Yeah.
This is the thing, flipping. Start Rodrigo, man, because Rodrigo will just shoot, and the work rate's savage as well. Bamford wasn't holding it up against City. Stel's boy Gundogan come through. I'm telling you, Stel was like, this is why you should bet Stel. Every time you're like, he'll message me and he'll go, Gundogan, and then he'll score 2. Like when he went through that run last season.
Yeah, he missed a penalty. He missed a penalty as well.
Yeah, he did.
Was it last season or the season before when he went on that mad run?
Season before. Yeah.
The season before. Yeah, Stel was like, before we started this, Stel was like, I don't know. I think this week you should put Gundogan in. I'm like, no, I've already got 3 City players in my team. And
Mr. Clutch, mate.
Like 7 games in a row or something.
Mr. Clutch, he's a baller, bro.
I remember when I came on your pod. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a couple of years ago, actually. That when you talking about, and my team of the season, I put him in it because he was just so fucking good.
Yeah,
he was just so fucking good that year.
He's quality, man. He's that guy, man. Gundogan he's Mr. Clutch, But let's see if he turns up tomorrow against Madrid.
Pep's not happy.
Was it last season we got the 2 goals in the final against Villa? Was it last season?
Yeah, last season. Yeah,
last season, wasn't it? See, I'm losing my track of my time. You know what I mean? The games and all that. Fucking hell. Yeah. All right, boys. Well, we've done the relegation. Well, actually, do you want to guess who you're... Have you said which teams you think you're going to go down? Have you done that?
I don't know.
Southampton, Leicester, and Forest. No, you know what? I'm changing it. Southampton, Leicester, and Leeds. That bottom 3 there.
I think Big Sam shouldn't have given it the thing. I think Leeds still have enough, sadly. Southampton, Leeds, and... I want to say Forest, but I might have to, because I just think Dash is going to just pull something out there. Hopefully it's not the case. I prefer. I don't want in the utopian society. Man City or Arsenal would win the league, but I'm gonna have to go. It's for the fact of I have a family and friends full of Arsenal fans. I've got to put the energy out there for City to get it. So then that would probably mean Everton are doomed. You know what I'm saying? But I think Dash should pull them out. So it'll have to be Forest. It'll have to be Forest then. It's tight. I'm confused. I'm conflicted. Yeah.
So you don't think you think Leicester will stay up?
I think Leicester will stay up. I think after hopefully we slap them, and then I think they'll get something for the last two games. Just
hold on. They got to play us.
Just because of the fact. Oh, you've still got to play Leicester?
Yeah, at St James's, bruv. They're done. They're done at St James's, bruv.
And see, you're worried about not getting top four. Fucking hell, man.
No. Because we won't. This is what's going to happen, right? We're going to draw to Leeds, yeah? Then we're going to draw to Brighton.
And then beat Leicester. Oh, no, you've got 4 games left, isn't it? You've only got 3.
Beat Leicester and then lose to Chelsea in the last game of the season.
Ew.
No, sorry. Change that. We're going to lose to Leeds, draw to Brighton, beat Leicester, and then draw with Chelsea.
Stop
with Chelsea. I'm telling you, we're not going to get it. We're not going to get it.
Why? Is it because it's football heritage?
It's football heritage.
It's because, apparently Joe Linton might be injured now. Yeah, so we've got no long staff. And if Joe Linton's injured, we're finished. Yeah, so Bruno's already playing with an ankle injury. So
play Trippier centre mid and start Mankiel.
Might have to, bro. You ain't gonna have a place. Might have to.
Football manager vibes here. All right, okay, well, we've done the bottom of the table. Let's quickly talk about 2 teams that their fans believe should be doing better than what they are. I believe one set of fans should be more pissed off than the other. Spurs and Chelsea. Let's start with Spurs first, because I think the Chelsea one might actually take slightly longer than Spurs, given the amount of spending that they've made.
Yeah.
But the Spurs situation since Pochettino has been, I don't know, a circus. I think that's the nicest way to put it. Conte left, as we know, under a cloud. His number 2 stayed. Then he left under a cloud. They've now got Ryan Mason as an interim coach because he knows the club, whatever that fucking means. Let's talk about Harry Kane possibly leaving. But I think that club is a mess from top to bottom. And to be honest, I still think that despite all the shit that's going on at Chelsea, I still think Spurs are worse off.
They are, 100%. Because there's no even attempt at a direction of the club. Like, that owner, Levy, does not care about the football. Yeah? All he cares about is well, I say he doesn't care about the football. What he cares about is business first, right? Commercial deals first. That's why he's got the groundbreaking stadium, for the entertainment factor. They're doing, was it F1 or go-karting or something underneath the stadium or something like that. But then he's put in the stadium and then the training facilities, so the world-class facilities. Then he thinks that because he's got that, everything else will fall into place. Like, it will improve the football, improve the team, and what? Well, no, you still need to invest in the team, yeah, and you need to decide what kind of direction do you want to go in, because you've tried the instant success and haven't got it. You've had the Jose Mourinho's, you had the Antonio Conte's, which were never a good fit for Spurs anyway. But if they've got trophies, then maybe none of them got a trophy, right? So now you need to decide what is that you want to do. Do you want to go in with a project and get a project manager or coach or whatever, or do you try to continue down this, get a proven winner? You're running out of proven winners to get anyway. But then if you're going to get a coach for a project, you're going to have to invest in the project, which means buying players, buying young players, letting the coach actually have a say on who he buys and who comes into the club, and not trying to penny pinch when you're doing the deals. Like it's something's got to change, like I said, from the very top, and that will filter down through the club, because they had a very good base. I think years ago, me and Dubul Dee on the show used to say that at the first 11, Spurs had the best first 11 in the Prem for a while.
Yeah.
The days of Vertonghen and Alvarez and
Ericsson,
Ericsson, Dembele, whatever it was. But then they got to the Champions League final and they thought they reached Mecca or something, and then they thought, right, that's it. They could just chill. Like everything else will take care of itself. Whereas other teams, successful teams, are constantly evolving, constantly trying to improve. When you get to the top, and Spurs are even at the top, but they just fell off, and it's like they don't care because the fans will still pay the excessive season ticket prices to fill out the stadium.
Yep.
They'll cuss how much they want, but they'll still turn up week in, week out. Yeah. So why would Levy want to tell him about Enoch out? Why are they going to leave the club? It's like the Glazers. Why are you going to leave a cash cow like that? Yeah. When all the fans are doing is making noise but not acting. Yeah. They're still lining your pockets. Yeah. But what they work out is Spurs being a top 4 team for a consistently long time. Now, that's why they were so opposed to the Newcastle takeover. Daniel Levy was at the forefront of the opposition because he knew there's a change of the guard, bruv. There's a change of the guard, and you ain't got the capabilities to keep up with what Newcastle are about to do in the next few years. So, you know what I mean? It's their own fault, but I don't care.
Have you had a Beyonce concert at St James's Park yet, though?
No. But I'm going to the Beyonce concert. I'm going to the Beyonce concert in a couple of weeks. Yeah. I'll tell you how it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's you pointed to that Champions League final when it's pivotal because Tottenham's beating Liverpool 4-1 in 2017 was probably the greatest thing to happen to Liverpool football club ever, because then obviously we tried to get Van Dijk in the summer anyway and then got done for tapping him up and whatnot, and then Southampton raised the price, but then Klopp waited for him, and actually after that game till the end of the season, we conceded the least amount of goals in the Prem anyway, so it started off being a bit better before Van Dijk actually came. But as you said there, in regards to the final, I think it's the manner that they lost the final as well made them think that they were closer to the Holy Grail than they actually were, because they still talk today about the handball. Also, the handball, he was pointing, it was accidental, it shouldn't have been given, though it was still handball. And then we managed the final for once, so we decided to sit off them and let them come.
Still had another 85 minutes.
I know, but because they had some near misses and whatnot, they're complaining that Liverpool were defensive, even though that's been their style for outside of Poch. A lot of the managers that they've had, especially since Poch, to stand off and let other teams have the ball, and then obviously the Origi got on the end, so they thought they were closer than they actually were. If Liverpool beat them like 4-0 in the final or something like that, then they would have been like, right, you need to replenish and whatnot, but they thought that they were closer than they were, and they've just I don't know what Levy wants. Like, look, they held out all their wing backs, because Emerson Wall just started playing well, so the wing back wasn't, he started the season poorly, wasn't their main issue. They held out basically the whole transfer window to get Pedro Porro. Like, other areas in their squad never needed to be addressed. So it's no surprise they're falling down there. They're falling down the table.
I just don't see. I don't know. Remember, at the beginning of the season, Spurs were talking about they won the transfer window anyway. Yeah, with the likes of Basuma, Richarlison, all them people there. But it's just like I still don't.
They thought Jed Spence would play.
Yeah, exactly. So what is it? But they've still got a lot of dead wood there. Yeah. So whoever comes in has got one hell of a job on. And why would any top coach want to come in under those conditions, right? Because Spurs fans are crying about Poch coming back. Why is he going to come back under those conditions with the same owner who either don't care or lies to him? Yeah, you see what happened with Conte and Mourinho. They sacked Mourinho on the eve of a cup final. Yeah, it's just nonsense. It is a circus over there, and I don't see how it gets better in the short term. I really don't. I think they're going to fall forward. Harry Kane might leave. I still don't think he will, but if he might leave,
go to Stel's team.
Well, it depends if Man United get top 4, but I think so. But it's if he does leave, what do they do? Like, they can get a proper striker to come and say, "Yo, you'll be our number 9" and that, but they need a lot more than that. Sean's not getting any younger. Richarlison, boy, I don't know. Kulusevski seems to have blown off. They don't even know if they're going to take him on. It's you still got Eric Dyer, who it's just they need to sort out the keeper situation. It's a madness. As a Spurs fan, I'd be quite worried.
Do you know what? When you look at that 2019 Champions League final, the squad for the whole season.
Yeah.
I think they still have 8 or 9 players from that squad.
Yeah.
Lloris, hang on, let me get in front of me. Lloris, Davinson Sanchez, Ben Davis. Okay, Harry Winks. I know he's out on loan at Sampdoria, but he's still registered to Spurs.
Yeah.
Eric Dyer is still there. Lucas Moura.
Yeah.
Oliver Skip. All right, he didn't play, but he was in the squad, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
Son and Kane.
But apparently,
now,
when we beat them, what was it 6-1 the other day? Where it was?
Some of that team played in the 5-1.
In the 5-1 when we beat them when we got relegated, there was about 6-7 players in that Spurs team that were still there
in the squad. Yeah,
that just shows you, but there's no progression.
Yeah, Loris Dyer. I'm trying to remember who.
Kane, Son.
Kane's son.
Like, I don't know, bro. They're just a mess, absolute mess. But
the thing is, right, you've got a situation whereby Spurs have either got players that they want to keep, like Harry Kane, right? Yeah. And there's players that are in the team, but the Spurs fans don't want, and it looks like the club can't get rid of. And again, I don't mean to disrespect the likes of Hugo Lloris, that's won a World Cup, but he's made way too many mistakes in the past couple of seasons.
He ain't playing again for Spurs. He's not.
Eric Dyer, I know he's had a pretty bad couple years, right? Forget the England duty, whatever. But that goal that Rashford scored the other week, for me, that tells me that his legs have gone.
He just backed off him. He never attempted to engage, and then Rashford just smashed it in.
Yeah. Davinson Sanchez isn't the player that they expected to be. That centre-back from Argentina, what's his name? Romero. Yeah. Erratic.
He's being so erratic.
Loose cannon.
He was outstanding for Atalanta last season, but he's being so.
He's being found out.
Yeah, 100%. You can't hack it. You can't hack the Premier. You can't.
Højbjerg, all right. I think a lot of Spurs fans like him. A lot don't like him. He's a bit 50-50. I think Perisic has been one of their best players this season, and that's no surprise because he's quality. But as you mentioned, Richarlison hasn't been doing anything. Son has been completely off the boil this season. People call him a purple patch merchant, and I can kind of see where they're coming from.
Sorry, I meant season before last year from Romero. I mean, but
yeah.
Well, what's Son? But we said the thing, but when it wasn't on here, but it was on FPL Wall. We said the thing when we were selecting our first drafts. Son is not going to bang like last season because last season his XG was outrageous because he because he was scoring them. He was scoring. He would get into the box and can score, but he was also scoring them mad ones, curling. I think he scored 20 goals from 77 shots or something like that.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. You're not going to replicate that. I mean,
no,
77 shots a time. So 20.
I'm going to re-listen to that pod. I have to re-listen to it because I'm pretty sure there was a valid reason why we said he wasn't going to get that. And it may have been down to the system that Spurs were going to play this season. I need to listen back to it. But I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines that it's down to the system that Spurs were going to play under Conte. And here we go. He hasn't been great this season. But, look, I know it's easy to pin the blame on Levy. But at the same time, he's not the guy doing the recruiting. And we've seen them sign a lot of duds over the years, And look, I don't mean to do this, but Ndombele, I know didn't he win the league with
league
Napoli?
Winner? Yeah,
with Napoli, right?
Yeah, but at Spurs, he was again hit, miss, or maybe. So what is it? Is this okay? Again, it can't surely be down to just Levy for fuck's sake. But at the same time, he's the guy that's making the decision in terms of the managerial changes. I personally wouldn't have sacked Mourinho, in all fairness. But again, it just seems that player power, once they're down tools, that's it.
Yep.
It's the mentality thing. It's the Spurs mentality, isn't it? It's like a virus that goes through the club, bro. They're just weak mentally, bro. They're just weak. I suppose, like I said, it starts from the top. I don't know, but it just transpires to the pitch. I just don't understand. Like, they crumble. When it's pressure time, they crumble. Like Conte said, it's the mentality of the Spurs. Like, it's just of the players. It's just like it's rotten. It's rotten to the core. But
Well, here's another question then, like sidestepping a little bit, and it's still related to Daniel Levy. I'm sure you guys saw the documentary, the Spurs one, where Danny Rose has gone into the office to talk to Mourinho, and then at the end of it, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to go speak to Daniel," as in Daniel Levy.
Yeah.
Right now, if you've got players with relationships with the club chairman in that respect, where they feel that they can go above the manager's head, even if it is Jose Mourinho that's won everything, what does that tell you about the state of the club?
Shambles. There's no structure. There's no, I say accountability, but it's a free for all, isn't it? It's a free for all. You know, I can go in and chat to the chairman like it's nothing. Yeah, forget you, manager. I'm going to the chairman. Like, sorry, no. That can't run, man. That can't run.
Well, I know these things happen in Cyprus. There's a club in Cyprus this season where the club president went in the changing room at half time and he made substitutions before the manager came, and the manager didn't know about it, so he quit. Like, these things happen. I expect these things to happen in Cyprus, not in the fucking Premier League. But then when I think about the whole Danny Rose situation, exactly how many other players have got that power to go over any manager's head, be it Conte, Mourinho, even Pochettino?
What
that may have happened with him.
You know that there's it's just a free, like, it's just shambles. Like, this is a club that, like I said, sacked a manager days before a cup final, right? Who they probably could have won that. Then they've sacked Conte and left his assistant manager in charge, thinking it's going to make a difference. It makes no sense. Like, most people clear out the whole backroom staff. You sack the manager, then hired the assistant manager, sacked the assistant manager to get his assistant in. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And you're no closer to getting a replacement because everyone's just denying you, rejecting you left, right, and centre. Like, it's just you don't know if your main striker is going to stay or go. Like, you've held him ransom for God knows how many years. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. No sense whatsoever. That's a Newcastle under Ashley. That's what that is. Yeah, yeah. You expect that from Newcastle under Ashley, but yeah. I don't know.
Well, whoever is the next head coach, whoever that's going to be, they might as well start planning for their P45. Might as well.
Exactly.
What you're going to get. Yeah. D, you've been pretty quiet. Talk to me about Chelsea, mate. This club has got like 50, they've got about 50, 60 players. I think they need 3 dressing rooms. Looks like Pochettino's going to be there next season. So is this going to be Todd Burley coming into the fucking changing room with his baseball cap?
First of all, he needs to, if he's not removed himself already, he needs to get off of the transfer committee, because he's just playing. He's just giving me those early Abramovich vibes. I remember when Abramovich first went to Chelsea, they were saying that he said, this guy Shevchenko, they should get him or something like that, and then someone had to tell him that they'd already bought him.
But don't forget, in his first season, he bought Varane, he bought a whole heap of quality players, man. Damien Duff, Joe Cole.
Varane, I remember Varane murking us. Varane sent us for hot dogs. Their first game under Ranieri that season, did they beat us 2-1 at Anfield? Hasselback got a late winner. Varane was that game. But,
well, I'll tell you another nostalgic story about that. Pardon me for interrupting, right? That 2-1 game, I'll tell you a story. Varane was obviously, he's my favourite ever player, Varane, right? So when he signed for United, I was just like, oh my God, incredible. And I bought a goldfish and I called him Seba, as in Seba Varane. No word of a lie. The day he left United was the day the fish died. I didn't kill him. It's just that he died.
Heartbreak.
Like, massive coincidence. Yeah. Well, it was more heartbreak for my ex, because she was the one that looked after it. Maybe she killed it. I don't fucking know.
Oh, wow.
I'm not blaming you, Natalie. I promise. It's fine.
Seba.
Don't come after me.
But I don't know what the policy was there. Chelsea had just got a bag of people in, and I thought it was a myth at first, but it was actually said to be a fact that players were having to change outside the changing room because of like the amount. There were so many bodies in there until they trimmed down the squad. But I don't know what the policy was, and they've taken people who were settled in their teams to come and not know whether or not they're going to start or even be in the squad or whatever. But Badia Shill, I don't think he started 2 games in a row since they got him in January, and he was doing really well at Monaco. Madueke was starting at PSV, and said, I don't know what the transfer policy was. They've locked down Enzo for like, well, they're giving him a 25-year contract or something like that. No, I'm playing, but I don't know. Huh? But
You know what?
surprised me.
Chelsea's the reason why I think Chelsea are in a better position than Spurs is that they've got an owner who wants to do well, right? Whether the approach we don't agree with or whatever, but he actually wants to succeed. I think he's a bit. He's trying to. He tried to come in and do it the American way, and he'll learn that that's not the way forward. And he must think that there's drafts and all sorts, whatever. But what he's doing, he's buying young, right, for the long term, and he's going to trim the fat. I think in the summer he has to anyway. He'll trim the fat, and then you will see maybe 2 or 3 more bodies coming, but you'll see an established squad, and it's up to the manager then to say, like, this is your squad now, work with it. Yeah, and I think if it is Pochettino, I think he will get a tune out of them. I think they'll be a lot better than they can't be much worse, to be fair. But I think as a Chelsea fan, yes, you just want the season to end in it, because I think it's still quite exciting as what can be achieved with this squad, because they've got some great players in that squad. Like from top to bottom, they've got some great players. So if the right manager come in and get the right fit, and Pochettino will have an easier time, because, like I said, the squad will be cut down in numbers, and he will know eventually who his best team is. Yeah, but what they need is an out and out number 9. Get rid of Aubameyang, which they will do. Get an out and out number 9 to start with, and then I think you'll see a lot more harmony within the club. And I think they've still got a few more additions to make in the back room and the board and stuff. But I think Bowley will step back. Whoever comes in will make that, listen, you do not come in half time and start showing people around during the middle of my matches and my team talks and that I can't run. But I think sooner or later it will come together. Like if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be a lot more optimistic than if I was a Spurs fan. So, I don't think it's all doom and gloom at Stamford Bridge. I don't think so.
Some Chelsea fans were ringing up TalkSport last week, and because obviously we saw them finish poorly after Mourinho won the league in 2015. He won the league, didn't he? Because they were so poor the next season when Leicester won it. And then they won the league in 2017 under Conte. They're convinced, as Dee's saying, when they trim the squad down to get the right man in, they're convinced they're going to win the league. Not even the title challenge. Some of them said, I won't be surprised if we win the league next season.
No, they're buzzing. They're buzzing. It's not that. Newcastle win that league before Chelsea next to you, bro. Like, it's not that.
But those title-winning teams of Chelsea's over the years, they've had match winners throughout the bloody squad. And even the last one, like Eden Hazard was incredible. Diego Costa, Fabregas. They don't have those kind of players now. Even the ones where they thought were going to come good, like Mudryk. I remember him coming. He played against Liverpool and he did all right. This has been his best game.
Yeah, but they were gassed because obviously he blew out.
He put the burners
our fullbacks. He put the burners on. So Arsenal fans were on. They were saying, "See, we should have just spent the money they wanted and not penny pinched and whatnot." They've changed their tune now, and then obviously Chelsea fans were gassing it too. Though it wasn't like it turned it into a match-winning performance, but
no, not at all. But I just think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done with Chelsea, and the scary thing for them is that when Thiago is out, they're a mess defensively.
Yeah,
they've got no leaders.
They've
got no leaders. The goalkeepers are shambles. Kepa, that's a shambles.
Yeah.
Midfield, I can't even name you a midfield 3 that Chelsea can put in there regularly and say they're going to do bits. So, okay, Enzo has been okay. I think he's been underwhelming in all fairness. N'Golo Kante, I don't know what's happened to him. Kovacic doesn't look like the same player. Jorginho is probably the best player in terms of technical ability. He's gone on loan to Arsenal. And up front,
a lot of these players though.
Oh no, Arsenal bought him. They bought him, didn't they?
Yeah,
they bought him.
Got Preston.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of these players, if they can get a manager in as soon as the season's done, get rid of Frank, whatever, get the manager in and have a pre-season, then I think you'll see a lot better from these players. Because listen, Enzo's quality, but he ain't had a pre-season with his team. Like Same as the rest, basically. No preseason, and there's been no stability. So it's not surprising. I mean, it's surprising to how far that they've dropped off, but it's no surprise that they're not up there challenging for top four at this present time. But I think next season there'll be a threat to the top four. Not so they'll make it, but there'll be a threat to the top four.
Well, I don't think Mason Mount's going to be there next season, do you?
He don't need. He offers nothing anyway, so they'll be good to get a fee thing for him anyway.
With the wages he wants, were being linked heavily to him. And when he was on loan at Vitesse Arnhem, I was hollering some of my Chelsea friends and saying, like, your guy's doing bits. But for the money he wants per week, I don't want that. But I understand we need to get 1 or 2 English players in for the quota for Europe. But I don't think he's worth 250,000 a week. We could go. We could look at what Alcaraz is doing for Southampton. Obviously, he's not English, but if you look around, these players are all over the place.
Who do you get Ward Prowse at the end of the season?
Whether it be an attack,
Oh,
I prefer Ward Prowse over.
Over Mason Mount, but
because 1, the wages won't be as high. 2, the free kick's going in top bids, and work rate, etc. You know what he brings. He doesn't try to do anything that he can't do. He just stays within the skill set that he has, and he can help out right back as well. You get what I'm saying? Which will obviously help the thing if they decide fully blown to put Trent in centre mid rather than play the inverted role. So I would take him, because if he goes down, he's going to have many suitors. Villa, he almost went to Villa, didn't he? At the start of last season. So so that's the type of English player I don't mind, because you know what you're going to get. But Mount, for that money, last season he got double figure goals and assists, and when you just look at it, it looks impressive. But then when you realise that a third of that came home and away against Norwich, and the rest of it, apart from a goal away at West Ham, was all against, I think, the bottom 4. Then you start to actually realise it's not as great as it actually seems. But I mean, if he can sort out, I think partially Southgate, the one that's messed him up as well. He hung him out to dry in that Euro final, bruv. I don't know what his position was meant to be, how many times he touched the ball, and then when he wasn't in form for Chelsea after that, he was still picking him for England. So it's like these people are going to think, do I have to raise my game if I'm still going to play for my country and whatnot? Anyway, even now, flipping Lamps is in there, he's flipping Dad, and he's not even being played under Frank.
No, I thought Conor Gallagher was Lampard's new son.
Bro, and they're both Energizer bunnies. Bro.
I prefer Conor Gallagher over Mount.
Bro, they're both Energizer bunnies. They give you energy that's his level. But he still looks out of place for Chelsea, bro. Like, he's an Energizer bunny with passion, bro. That's what he is, bro.
Bro, he scored a deflected goal. Do you not see him emulating Lampard, bro? No, I'm playing. Man, like Connor. But so it depends. I just don't know whether or not these people are just like, scouts aren't doing their job, or they're just playing Football Manager or what. But like, just look about, there's people there. Like, it's about Southampton are going down, and look at their team. I'd rather take more players from Southampton than I've won from some teams that are higher in the table than them. You get what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
I mean, Alvarez and Lavia, I'll take them immediately to Liverpool squad. But it's what it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. All right, boys. Well, one more thing before we wrap it up. We can't not talk about the title race and how it's City and Arsenal. In all fairness, I'm just going to say this. When Arsenal played West Ham, before kickoff, I messaged Steve Eyre and Rodri, because we've got a WhatsApp group. And I said, you know what's going to happen? Arsenal are going to drop points here, and City are just going to go on a ridiculous winning streak, because that's what they do. They take their foot off the gas December, January time. And people start thinking, oh, they're going to fall flat. And the next thing you know, they just beat everyone in their sight. And they've got this machine up front who is absolutely scary. Do you know, I knew that he'd be good. I didn't realise he'd be this good. I'm not going to be like what's his name, Rory Jennings, or what the fuck his name is, that was on, he's on the club, what's his called? Is his name Rory Jennings or Terence Jennings? Fuck knows. Yeah. They said that, it's disrespectful to the establishment when you say that Haaland's going to get top goal scorer. Disrespecting Salah, you're disrespecting Kane, and this guy's got 35 goals in his fucking first season, 51 in total. I mean, boys, is there only one place where the title is going? Is Arsenal's win against Newcastle kind of like giving them false hope?
I don't think so, especially like I said, after today with Everton's win. because I was looking at City's remaining fixtures, right, and I thought, listen, it's not. I think they had it harder than Arsenal, and I think they still got to go to Brighton, still got to go to Everton, and still got to go to Brentford, right, in the last game of the season. Now, everyone was saying, and plus you've got the Champions League and whatever. City's got the hardest one, but the thing about Man City is they relish the hard games. If they had a complete easy run for the remaining season, I think they would have dropped points. But they relish the difficult games. I'm talking in Europe or in the Prem, because De Bruyne is the biggest big game player the Prem's ever seen. Yeah, they've got Haaland, but they always manage to like when they had the run of like Chelsea, United, and Liverpool all in a row, they'd win all three. Yeah, like 1-0, 2-0, and then battle 1-4-0 or something like that, whatever. This is what they live for. But I think this time, that win for Arsenal yesterday, don't get me wrong, the pressure was off Arsenal because no one was expecting to win, and they were chasing Man City, yeah, and no one expected them to win the league now. So the pressure was off them, so they could play how they wanted to, kind of thing. It's the fact that Everton won so convincingly today, and they know they're that step closer to safety. I think it's going to cause Man City problems. The only saving grace that I have is the fact that it's not a 8 o'clock on a Monday evening kickoff at Goodison. It's at 2 o'clock on a Sunday. Yeah, whereas Man City should win, right? But something tells me they're going to draw this game. No. They're going to draw this game, yeah. And Arsenal are going to absolutely annihilate Brighton, bro. So I think it's going to go down to the last game of the season. I don't think it's going to be as simple as people are saying now. I think it's going to go to the last game of the season where Arsenal are home to Wolves, I think it is, and City are away to Brentford. So if it gets to that, I don't know, bro. City should still win it. They should still win it because even if they draw it with Everton, they'll still have a game in hand. Is it right? If once Arsenal play, so they should still be. They should still be.
Yeah. They can afford a draw to defeat them, but they can afford a draw if they win the other games, and they'll still they'll still do it. Yeah.
But if they beat Everton, that's it. They'll win it. They'll win it. But I just think they're going to draw this one, and it's going to go down to the last game of the season. And I can't call it, bro. Because I think Arsenal will win every game now.
Not in the Forest at home against Arsenal. It's not going to be as easy for Arsenal as their fans are thinking.
Where is it? At Forest?
Is that Forest? Yeah. Arsenal battered them at the Emirates.
Oh yeah, of course, at the Emirates. Yeah. But I still think they'll win every game. I still think so. But I think it will go down to the last game of the season. I think it will.
I really thought Newcastle were going to beat Arsenal, you know.
I wasn't that confident, bro.
You the only one. Everyone else, Arsenal fans, anyone else, thought,
I know.
Stick it to them. I think it's the lineup. I think though Newcastle started really well. The joke is, don't get twisted. That handball decision was the right decision because of where it hit him. But on another day, you might not get that. you might not get that luck.
But it's fine margins, isn't it? They've got that decision, and if that Murphy one doesn't come off the post and it goes in, we annihilate them, bro.
Yeah. I messaged you off for that. There was another one when I think you was already behind then, though, when someone cut into the box and then they laid it back to Wilson. And
Isak cut back.
He took a touch and he could have shot it first time. And I was like, these men are overthinking. These men are overthinking the thing, man.
Yeah. Isak hit the post with a header. Yeah. It's fine margins, bro. Like the difference is Arsenal took their chances and we didn't. End of the day, like on another day we could have beat them 2 or 3-0. Like, but you know, Arsenal had their cup final. It seemed like by beating us, they seem to be celebrating that they've won the league, or that, you know what I mean. But
a lot of their fans didn't deserve that performance from Jorginho, bruv.
Oh no, of course they didn't, because they've been slating him since they bought him. They've been slating him.
They didn't deserve that performance, son. You get me? He was out in there because there was a stage when Joe Linton in Newcastle was just powering and he just had the composure in there and he did in the midfield, whereas Partey would have just been in there fouling people. Yeah,
that's it.
So the changes were correct.
It's the absence of Longstaff, bruv. If we had Longstaff playing, that midfield battle would have been a lot closer. But they were able to cut through our midfield easily without him, bruv. and that's where we fell down and that. But you know, dust it off and go again. But we can't have the difference between the Villa one is that we actually played all right. This one, Villa one, we were just out.
Yeah,
we didn't play at all.
That's your worst performance of the season.
Yeah. Whereas this one, we'd actually played all right. So we ain't going to be too downbeat about it. We just have to go into the next game. But yeah, Man City, they need to get the job done, bro. They need to get the job done.
We'll never hit the end of it, mate.
Oh,
The thing
100%.
is, boys, like, if you remember last season, Arsenal dropped out of the top four, and people were saying, "Oh, it's inexperience and this and that." What's so different this season? Because obviously now they're challenging for the title. So, what is so different that they can't, or should I say, they won't bottle it this time round?
Because there's no pressure on them now. They wobbled when they got battered by City, drew West Ham, drew Liverpool and Southampton. That was when the pressure was on and they couldn't cope with it. Now, there is no pressure on them, bro. Because they're second, no one expects them to win the league. They can play how they want because if they finish second, all right, no one expects us to win the league anyway. But they can play with so much freedom now, yeah, that when it gets to the last game of the season, it's a case of whatever we've done amazingly, that kind of thing. So they can play with that swagger now. They can play with the shackles off. They can, you know what I mean? They're not, like people said, they prefer to be the hunter than the hunted. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I know it'd be better if they were hunting another team because City, they do this every day. Like they do this every season. They fended off Liverpool for how many years, and they were a better team than this Arsenal team is. So it's you know what I mean. It's interesting, but I just believe Arsenal are going to win every game now. I think they will.
But I don't know. Look, obviously time will tell. And I'm not one of these people that, in fact, I couldn't care less who wins the league, in all fairness. But I think because City have done this before, you know, they've done the dance before. They've been to the rave before. They know what to expect. They wear their shoes to the rave. Do you know what I'm saying? They're going to turn up in their crepes and then get turned away at the door. They've done this before.
Even when they wear crepes, the car is close by with shoes in it. You get me? So
there you go. So, they know what to expect. Whereas Arsenal, okay, I understand that, you know, the pressure is off them. I get that. But at the same time, we know how social media works. And we know how players watch social media and they take in a lot of things that are said and put out on social media. And I don't really think Arteta can control that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't believe the hype, or do they believe the hype created by their own fans? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You know, they're in a fantastic position. I didn't expect them to be challenging for the title. They fully deserve to be where they are. But I still think there are lots of cracks in that team, especially defensively. And, you know, Ramsdale can get in front of a camera and, you know, do all of his
pump
you know,
it up.
Yeah, turn it into Endor, you know. He can do that. But I still think that there are mistakes in them defensively. But that's not to say the City don't have mistakes. The only difference is, I said, not only have City done this before, we can also bring Haaland into the conversation, but we've done that already. But when you see how Guardiola has preserved a few players this season, Foden was in and out of the squad. He disappeared for a bit. I forgot that he was a City player. Then he came on against Leeds and he had a good game. And I think City have got that, whereas Arsenal is still a bit... I don't know. They don't have that extra bit of quality that City do. Like, I could be proved wrong. And whoever wins the league, good luck to them because they deserved it. But I still think City have done this before, man. They've done it before.
Yeah.
So I think that's what gives them the edge.
Yeah. Time will tell. Time will tell.
What do you think, Double?
Heart saying City. Head is saying, as D-Man saying, that there's going to be a twist. I actually thought, I just got this funny feeling in terms of the way that football works. I thought Leeds were going to come and make it 2-2 on Saturday right at the end, and then everyone would go nuts, because I've never seen City, but a game that you should have scored 5 or 6 in. I mean, Haaland could have scored a hat-trick. Obviously, Gundogan's missed a penalty as well, so when he got taken off, Pep completely ignored him. I haven't seen Pep angry for a while, right? They started time wasting. Obviously, you're time, but you expect that in bigger games. Like, there would have been another goal for them there because Leeds are fighting for them lives. So if they just pumped it forward, they would have probably just been able to get in behind. But it was like, why are you deferring now in the game that you should have? So as long as they don't have any of that against Everton, because the threat that everyone poses is that City could have 90% possession, Dash will organise them, and then they've got the likes of Mina, who started today instead of Michael Keane, or Tarkowski that can get a header or flick on from a set piece, and they could have like 20 possession in the match and get something from it. So City have to hit them, and they have to hit them early. You don't want to be level with these guys late on and then push people forward and then get picked off. But so I think City should be able to do it, but because I was honestly, when I mapped out and scribbled down what I thought the results were going to be, I had Newcastle taking points off at Arsenal. So they haven't. I'm like, oh no, no. And the reason why, as a Liverpool fan, it will be more angry is that we've been in Champions League finals the times we've lost the title to City by 1 point. Last season we were chasing a quadruple but only ended up with the 2 domestic cups, and City have always just had that bit, and I prefer them to just, I don't do this 1 point business. Obviously, yeah, it's exciting to be in the race with them, but if they just win it, then fine. Like last season, I would have preferred them if they beat Villa 6-0. Why are you going 2-0 down and getting us excited? In 2019 they went behind through that Gendry goal. It was like 70 seconds and the Aguero recross. For fuck's sake. Like, why are you giving me? It's the hope that kills you. Why are you giving me hope? Just bruv. You know what I'm saying? Just deal with it. So don't mess it up now. Now I'm actually not rooting for you because I don't want them to win the league either. But I have to pick 1 or 2, one out of the 2. So it's like, go and just do the thing. I mean, I have to leave the country, bruv. Do you know how many Arsenal people be on my neck? Nah, I'll be good, mate. I'll be good. if Stel's got a basement, I'll build like a little, you get me, a trench in his basement or something.
I've got a big enough garage. I've got a big enough garage, mate. I've got a fridge in there and everything. It's fine. Stay in there.
Get out your shed. I mean,
it's very well, it's very well covered. Insulated as well. So it's not too hot.
I'm ready, mate.
It's all good. But yeah. Anyway, boys, I think we're done. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. I hope we can do this again sometime. Before I let you guys go, plug your shit. As I said.
Yeah, D go first, because otherwise if I go first, I say everything. So D knock out the park, bro.
Well, I'll start with the Twitter and the Twitter at D&D Footy Factory _ Tune into the D&D Footy Factory show on Top FM 95.5 Saturdays 10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is. My personal Twitter and Insta is illphenomenal25. That's phenomenal with an F, and if you can't spell it, you can't follow me. So yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, he said it. Saturday mornings, as he said, 10 a.m. to midday. Us two, Big Sam, carrying it at the moment. You might see Goliath once every 18 months or something like that. But yeah, on top of him, if you're not in London, probably best to listen to it on the TuneIn app or
which is what I do,
or Simple Radio. Or if you've got Dab Radio, on there as well, Dab as well. And yeah, at DD Footy Factory _ D said my personal is at Dubul Dee DUBULDEE.
Lovely. That's it for another edition of Shoot Defense. We are actually back, thank goodness, and we do this. We're doing this more and more frequently. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Rest in peace, Mr. Springer.